Hello, welcome to Follow Everton. I'm Ryan and I'm joined with Mabsy and Basil to react to Everton's 2-2 draw at home to Spurs. Where do I start with that?
Defense.
Utterly, I don't know whether to laugh or cry, really. I feel so deflated and demoralised by that because I think Everton were the much better team for most of the game. We were in control. I thought we were a much improved team tonight. And bar two embarrassing, pathetic defensive mistakes from two players. I mean, it's not as if they've got a language barrier. The communication was shocking, and in the end, it's cost us. It's cost us a win, and it's potentially cost us European football, really, because I think we play like that for the rest of the season and picked up a result tonight. We would be a shoo-in for Europe, but they've absolutely fucked it up there big time, and it's unacceptable. I'm sorry, it's unacceptable.
It's just Everton, isn't it, though? Always our fucking luck that this happens. You know, you're right. You know, it's not like they're new to the squad. They know each other in and out, really. Well, they should do by now. And, yeah, it's just... It's two fuck-ups by both of them. And it's just... It's cost us a game.
And you know what the thing that annoys me about that actually is the Sigurdsson goal was a stroke of genius, really. It's as good as you're going to see this season, that kind of finish. It was superb. It was a world-class finish, and it deserved to win us the game.
Yeah.
Dave said it's Chuckle brother defending.
It really is, though. You just know, to be fair, that's spot on. You can't argue it, can you, really?
David, you're smiling. I mean, it's one of those you're smiling because it's kind of embarrassing what we've just witnessed in terms of it was a typical Everton bottle job, throwing a game away that was in their hands, and it actually looked like we were going to come back from behind for the first time to win in a long time as well.
But Europe wasn't over today. I mean, it's not over, but if it's over, it's down to Brighton and it's down to Crystal Palace, not this match. Yeah. 3 points from 3 games is not good enough at this time of the year, and they've only got themselves to blame for that.
David, we lost to Chelsea and we dropped points in the other games as well before. I think this is 5 games now without doing anything.
No, but we did do tonight. I think it's hard to say that we didn't do something tonight, and we actually looked like the side that we saw at the start of the season, albeit obviously different players and formation, but we actually kept the ball and we were aggressive. We were in their faces. We didn't let them play. They scored.
I thought we were excellent, yeah.
2 goals out of nothing. They didn't deserve anything from that game, Spurs. You know, Spurs are ahead of us in the table, but I haven't seen anything from them tonight to say that they're any better than us as a side. Oh, they've got Harry Kane. That's the only difference. They've got Kane. Take Kane out of their side, they're on a par with us.
I'm a bit
just unlucky.
As I say, it's hard for me to be annoyed with Everton. The only thing that I feel disappointed, obviously, with the 2 mistakes and the fact. I think it's just we've been robbed by. It's been an absolute daylight robbery, in my opinion. Jay, a friend of the show, he'd like to see more of Josh King. Do you think Josh made an impact when he came on? He certainly looked bright, and he had 2 chances.
Well, this is
the first one,
but you know, he's coming on too late. You know, we haven't seen him. It was like, you know, Crystal Palace would have been the ideal game for him to start and see where he was. See what level.
I don't think he rates him.
He doesn't. But was he his signing? Then that's the question. And then who signed him if it wasn't?
Well, I've heard that there's been a bit of a miscommunication with Brands and Ancelotti, and you know, they want different players, so he might well have been a Brands signing just to plug a gap.
Because it's apparent that Josh King is not an Ancelotti signing. Ancelotti basically doesn't want anything to do with him. It's quite apparent from Crystal Palace, because you know what, we needed him in that game. Really. Why not chuck him on in that game? But
tonight was obvious. We had no Calvert-Lewin. He was back fit, and he's on the bench. You know, I thought we did well attacking tonight, and I think that's because we won the ball. We won the midfield battle most of the game. And we won the ball in higher areas and got Sigurdsson and Hammers on the ball. And it was really effective. But I don't know whether if we'd had Calvert-Lewin, maybe we would have taken a few more chances. But it's just hard to say, isn't it? But
it's hard to say whether we would have won with Calvert-Lewin. I mean, I do think we probably would have took more of the chances we snatched at. We created a lot of chances. I think it was 17 shots, 7 of those on target. I think the finishing was a little bit wasteful. I thought James tonight was a league above everyone. He was outstanding. And if you can find one or two of the players of that ilk, you're transforming that team. The problem is we're not going to see the best of him until you've got wingers, someone you can thread the balls into on the inside, making runs.
I hope we can keep him at the end of the season. I really do. I pray to God that we can. We need to do all the best to keep him.
Keep him fit.
Keep him at the team.
Let us know in the comments. I know there's quite a lot of you watching at the moment. Let us know your initial reaction to this. Is this an Everton huge error? And is this Europe? Is this Europe thrown away?
No, it's not thrown away. I don't think it's thrown away at all. He still can do it. And at the end of the day, I know every season we do say this, but come on, he's been at the club 18 months. First transfer window he didn't have because he didn't spend any money because he wasn't allowed to. I think January was disappointing transfer window.
Yeah.
If you look at Klopp, he didn't. With Liverpool, he didn't hit the ground running straight off. There's no way he did. Not having he did, and he didn't. But again, I think as well as fans, we are that starved of success. We are starved at not getting these cups. That we're just we're just wanting it. And again, I want Europe, and God forbid I want us to win a cup. But I think it's just a patience game with Ancelotti. It really is.
We do need to give him time, but tonight, this for me was self-destruct. This was Everton being Everton, bottling it. And unfortunately, tonight, what you're seeing is two teams that are just as good at bottling a game as each other. Spurs are, they've got their own term coined, Spursy. Everton are Everton-y, if you like. We see Europe within our sights. We've got a squad comparable with some of the other teams around us, and I honestly thought we could get 4th place. On paper, we're better than West Ham. We're better than some of the other teams. And we've certainly got an outstanding manager, but unfortunately, it is being self-destruct. I know the injuries have played a big part, but, we should be beating Palace. We should be beating Brighton. These are teams below us. We dropped points in the games before that. I thought we were weak against Chelsea. We could have had more of a go against them. We didn't really have much to lose, I suppose. And tonight, obviously, it was a little bit of a negative lineup in some aspects, the 5 at the back. Iwobi again tonight. I mean, I don't want to slate him, but he's not an Everton player for me. He always wants to dribble back inside or cut inside, or he rushes his cross. He's not a winger, and he's not an Everton player. And there's a few too many of them. But I just want to say Sigurdsson tonight again. He was very good against Spurs in the first time we played them. The second time we played them, sorry. I thought he was fantastic tonight. Not just because of the goals, but he looked more up for it tonight.
Yeah.
Dave says Iwobi was awful again. And he also says Europe went 4 games ago.
Well, I think it's safe to say now that top 4, I know it's only 8 points, but that's it, top 4. We're aiming for 7th now, in my eyes. We're not better than 7th. But, do we want the Conference League? Well, we'll have to debate that another time. But
it stinks. It's getting to the point where your season's petering out and you're thinking, I don't even want to watch. And I know, obviously, we're doing these videos, so stay with us because
Spurs, I've said this before, Spurs are our rivals now. They're our rivals for 7th. We win the game in hand, we're above them, and then it's in our hands. So it's
Spurs
still in our hands.
Spurs are crap. I saw nothing from Spurs tonight that makes me think they're anything special. We just made 2 massive errors, and we're going to go through everything now, I think. So we'll start obviously with the first goal. So the cross comes in, and Michael Keane's stretching. Is that his header to go for, or should he be leaving that for Holgate?
Well, Holgate should be shouting at him to leave it if he thinks he's going to get that ball.
Yeah, the communication's key on it.
Why is Holgate 5 yards behind everyone else? He does this all the time. He likes to play everyone on side. He doesn't stick with the line.
No, I don't want to see that, especially when Holgate's not going to be aerially dominant.
Those two can't play together. They
No,
stink of
if-
Sam Allardyce.
if you sit-
2018.
If you sit Mina deeper than the defensive line, the chances are he's going to, use his power and an extra step to win the header. Holgate's not going to do that against Kane. I don't know what he's doing there. Should be in line.
I've noticed the trend with Mason that he likes to, when he plays centre back, he's always behind the ball. He's the last defender. He likes to drop off. And okay, it wouldn't have mattered because the ball came off Keane anyway. He's onside regardless. But it's a little bit of an infuriation. The two of them, I've never seen them. They remind me of 2018, 2017. The two of them in the back line looking a little bit hopeless. It reminded me of that tonight.
Yeah.
No confidence.
Look, the game was lost there. There's nowhere else on the pitch. I mean, Iwobi wasn't very good in my opinion, but apart from that, everywhere else on the pitch, apart from Holgate, was solid and did their jobs really well. And I think that's just where the game was lost. You just can't make those sorts of errors and expect to win the game still.
And at that point, Mabsy, Spurs hadn't done anything, had they? Everton were in control. They were the better team, and the goal was definitely against the run of play.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we were up there. As I say, it's just so frustrating, isn't it? Because on the balance of play as a whole, we were the better team again. And it was just a story of our night. Even so yeah.
It's like the Palace one again, isn't it? We had that chance, didn't we? James slides a little no-look pass and it slides it through. Richarlison, he hits it pretty much in the corner, but the keeper saves it. And then the second one where James gets a chance when it's 1-1 and he just hits it straight. The keeper. They're two really good chances that we had turned down tonight. And, you can't think of Spurs having any of those chances apart from the goals that just fell to Kane.
Obviously, it's come down to those individual errors. The thing that worries me is that if James looks around and thinks, "Why am I playing with these players?"
That's what I said before.
Making mistakes. You're spot on. I'm just going to quickly go to the comments before we go to Everton's equaliser. Tom Peters, hiya Tom. He thinks it's a good result and that Europe's still on. Obviously, there's still quite a few games left. I'm not feeling so optimistic now. I think the stuffing's been knocked out of me tonight.
You know what? We played that well at Arsenal. They are beatable.
They are, but you'd say that about the last 4 games. Jay says Holgate slows the game down. Do you want to elaborate on that, Jay? And we'll come back to you. Mabs, go on. So what were you going to say, mate? Go on.
What was this? Sorry, but what? Sorry.
You were talking about Arsenal being beatable.
Yeah, no, they are beatable. At the end of the day, always on a good game, we are better than what Arteta's shite is now because they've had the fucking awful season.
They're in the last 4 of the Europa League, Mabs.
So what?
All the games apart from City, you'd say are beatable, and even the City games are free pass. They'll have won the league by then. They might be away with the fairies.
Saving the team for the Champions League. So at the end of the day, Europe's not within our reach.
However, City will lift the trophy that day and probably want to win the game. So, probably the best
of the fans too, isn't it?
It's very irate. Steve Ellie is a FollowEverton, a friend of the channel, and a regular guest. He got his prediction right. He did say 2-2. I remember we had the conversation yesterday evening, and in the back of my mind, I'm thinking he's bob on here really with this, and there you go.
You know what? If you said to me at the beginning of the game, would you take a draw? I'd be like, yeah, but this feels like a defeat.
Yeah, I kind of know what you mean. I wouldn't have taken a draw personally. It definitely feels like a defeat.
No, on the back of the run that we've been having, I think a draw against Spurs, you wouldn't have said. But you know what I mean. But after watching it, I wanted the win.
It's because we played better tonight. Well, in my opinion, than we have for about 4 or 5 games.
Exactly.
It feels very much painful to then come away with. Well, it feels like nothing, doesn't it?
It really does.
We'll come back to that comment.
Spurs got a point as well, so it literally is nothing. It didn't help anyone. It just moved us both 1 point up the table.
what I thought, just general stuff. I do want to go through the game chronologically, but I thought Davis played well. I thought, in general, I couldn't really fault anyone apart from Holgate and Keane. I thought everyone stepped up a level. The formation obviously doesn't really suit the group of players that we've got. It leaves Richarlison isolated a lot. But I thought today it was a massive improvement from a lot of players that have been criticised. I just want to know why it takes us to have to play a direct rival for that to happen, and why we can't go out with that same intensity against the lesser teams.
No, I don't know.
Dave, Dave says Richarlison's chance at the end, Kane would have put that away 10 times out of 10.
Which one? I can't think of, but we had
There's that many.
At the end, that's the thing.
He's not an out-and-out striker. I mean, I like Richarlison on the wing, on the right, coming in onto the cross from the left and heading it in, like we saw a lot last season. I think that's his strength.
He's talking about the one where King gets a through ball in and it comes off the keeper. Yeah, it wasn't the easiest, but Kane is world-class finishing, isn't he?
Yeah.
It's a shambles, but he only needs one chance. The Richarlison needs a few chances that we saw tonight. He had 4 or 5. Jay says, when the game is running forward, Holgate gets the ball and the pace of the game slows down. There's a few of them like that. I didn't think it was necessarily an issue tonight, but... And then obviously in the contrast, Steve says that the faster football makes the difference. And that's spot on. We play too lethargic in too many games. And tonight we had a bit more energy and it was more effective.
I think what I kind of see what Jay's saying about the Holgate issue. And it's not just Holgate. I think Keane does it. I think some of the others do it. But a lot of the times they go back to the keeper and the keeper, he just lumps it to Richarlison. We don't have Calvert-Lewin tonight. So they've got to use their head to think and look up and try and feed the ball into a channel or get it out wide. You go back to the keeper, all that means is he's just going to lump it. It's just going to be a lump ball after that. So
I thought there was more intelligence in the play tonight, though. David, I know what you mean. There was a few times we did lump it forward and it was a bit aimless. But I think in general, a lot of it was controlled possession, keeping the ball a lot better than we have done, and tackling. And the more I think about this, the more it annoys me, because we deserved to win tonight. 100%. Spurs didn't do enough. They weren't great. And the more I think about how well we defended, how well we apart from those 2 moments, how well we tracked runners, tackled, everything about that performance was far better. Let's go on to the Sigurdsson equaliser, the penalty. He took it really well. Was it a penalty though in the first place? Yeah. Go on, tell me why.
As I say, they've been given for softer stuff, so yes, it was.
Was the contact, David?
He gets a push in the back before he's about to shoot, which means as he's shooting, he's pushed forward, so his actual left foot that he's going to strike it with doesn't make contact. It actually hits the ground, and that it wouldn't have hit the ground. Hammers would have, he would have taken the shot properly if he hadn't have been pushed. So, it's light contact, but the defender's gone to actually force Hammers. He's gone to pressure him and he's caught him. So, it's at the moment, this season is a penalty.
It's really nice football, isn't it? Down the left-hand side. A little bit of combination. Sigurdsson actually running with the ball forward, plays a good, intelligent cross to Hammers, and you fancy him to score anyway, really, from there on his left foot, coming onto it, with the ability he's got. And the penalty was taken really well from Sigurdsson. And I think, how many goals has he scored against in the season? Is it 4?
6 penalties, isn't it? We scored 6 and 6.
He's talking about how many goals he scored against Spurs, or
yeah. I think he's got a lot of goals this season. He might have just hit 10. He might have hit 10 goals now in total.
He's got 3 against Spurs, and he's got a couple of assists.
Excellent. Everton pressing tonight, much better, more intensity, willing to go forward and hack and try and win the ball back higher up the pitch. And it did work. Spurs didn't like that at all, I thought.
Yeah, well, I thought Spurs weren't comfortable when we did press. I think they gave the ball away. They put balls out for throw-ins in their in our attacking third, and it just played to our advantage, really.
Steve says Salah would have dived into Stanley Park Lake if that was him, death for a penalty. Carragher wasn't convinced, was he? Typical. Although he did kind of scream out loud with the second goal. He was a bit like, "What the hell?" You can tell he's like part of him is very, very much an Evertonian, and then the rest of him is just a bitter red. It's like he's so conflicted. So yeah, the rest of the first half, obviously, he didn't didn't account for the injury in stoppage time. The ref, he just kind of said you're injured and didn't add any extra time on that. That annoyed me. The second half, Everton started very similar to the first half, and then Spurs had a little bit of a go. It was almost like a wrestling game, but Everton in the main were certainly the better team and had looked more threatening and had more control. He took Iwobi off and brought Seamus on, and it was an instant impact, wasn't it? He just showed a lot more intensity, a lot more desire, and a lot more willing to go beyond. And he went and played an absolutely cracking cross across for Sigurdsson, and on his left foot on the half volley into the corner. It deserved to win the game.
Everton have just released the Goal of the Season award at 8 matches before the end. I think that maybe that's a contender to be put in the mix, but yeah, it was a great goal and it's a great finish. But as you say, it's that direct running from Coleman, which Iwobi doesn't offer. Iwobi receives the ball, looks up, thinks, can I do a little dribble? And if I can't, he goes backwards. And quite a few times in the second half, he ran into traffic.
They pushed Iwobi high, but there was no off-the-ball movement with him. That's the thing.
I think, well, he was good in terms of being starting position higher up the pitch for the press. I think he was good. But when he actually got the ball, he did absolutely nothing. And everything went down our left, which was why Coleman was needed on the pitch. I think Iwobi, if I remember rightly, which might not be right, but in the first half, the Spurs goal came from Iwobi losing the ball, and then we had time to defend it, but it did come from a passage of play where Iwobi lost the ball, turning into traffic. But yeah,
just back on the penalty. Jay said he's watched it again, and James had his foot stood on as he went to kick the ball, and that's why it wasn't overruled. Fair point. Yeah, I mean, most of the play did come down from the left in general. Richarlison dropping off into that left, all that does, and that creates some overloads with Sigurdsson and Dean. But the problem is it leaves no centre forward, and I think the problem with Everton this season in the main is finding the balance between being able to attack and being able to defend, putting the right players in to enable us to have enough solidity and have enough going forward. And I think we haven't found that balance. Every week it's a chop and change, different personnel, different system, and there's no way we can build any chemistry and consistency doing that. And this season, in danger of becoming another mediocre season, an 8th place finish is the same as Sam Allardyce, it's the same as Marco Silva. Carlo's got better players. He's got a lot better players.
Hang on a minute, but yeah, it's okay. So we've got now equal points what we finished on last season.
Well, you finished 12th last season.
Yeah, but we've got more points. We've got now we're on equal points than what we did, and so you can't really compare last season. We are doing better. We are getting there. And
no, I agree.
I think what it is right. I think sometimes that with that style for success, we want it instantly, and I think unfortunately, when you change managers, it's a building block. You know what I mean? It is, and it's frustrating, and I get that. But I think people turning on Carlo is not the answer.
I'm not turning on him. I'm just
not saying that you are right. I'm just saying that there are people, and you're just like idiots. I'm sorry, that's all they are.
Let us know in the comments. In general, are you happy up to this point? If the season ended right now, what your gut feeling is?
Don't get me wrong. I'm not happy, but I know what's gone wrong. And we've also got our heart back on play. No one's had a rest for like a year, really. They had 2 weeks and then we're straight back into it. I'm not saying, and again, it's a funny year, absolutely. But there are certain clubs that wanted to, should I say, continue on last season for their own devices. And to be fair, it was not the right decision to continue that on. The rest they haven't had the rest, and I'm not. Everyone's the same, and I get that. But I just feel, it has hampered. It's hampered everyone.
1 win and 8 though at home, David.
Yeah, it's not good enough at all. But I felt like tonight we had the balance there. You talked about balance a few minutes ago, and I think by having Allen in that pit in the middle of the field, that gave us a real balance, because Davies was able to sit and mop things up and let Allen go and chase and harry and initiate the press for the rest of the players. And I think that was much better than what we've seen. Up against Brighton, we couldn't build up at all because we had no midfield. Tonight, we had a midfield, we had a defence, and we had a forward line.
On paper, it was okay.
But there was a balance, and I think that's why in the second half especially, you saw us control the tempo, and we controlled the ball for about 20 minutes, which is something we don't do. We usually let them have the ball. So the actual formation and position was better tonight. Maybe
the changes, I can't keep talking about when we've got him back or when he's back. But Gomez in maybe for Iwobi and move James out wide, and you've got and put Coleman in at right back. I think then you've got your control in midfield. The problem is we need a couple of wingers, and it's not happening anytime soon. I'm going to go back. We're going to talk about the second goal. I know that, keep the comments coming in. We will address them. The second goal, you can hear Pickford screaming, "Stop the cross! Stop the cross!" Davis is there, doesn't stop the cross. Of course he doesn't.
Do you mean the fourth goal? Sorry,
goal.
The
fourth. Yeah, their equaliser.
Their
second equaliser.
Yeah.
At that point, I actually thought a 2-1. We're going to see this game out. This is because we're playing Spurs. This is a comeback from Everton, a phenomenal comeback, really. But we bottle it, and Keane going again for a ball that maybe is that his ball or is that Holgate's? I mean, the two of them are
communication is lacking, and there's no excuse because they know each other in and out, inside and out. So they shouldn't even be having to communicate. They should instantly know.
Why is Keane stooping down to head it though, like that? Why is he not just? It's poor defending. It's whichever way you look at it.
He's got to stoop. It seems to me like he should be kicking it. But I know Southgate was there to watch Keane, and I think he would have wrote on his notes: Keane, no; Holgate, no; Godfrey, maybe.
Yeah,
on that performance.
Michael Keane, I mean, he's in there for his heading ability and his reading of the game. And by having him in there, it forces us to play a little bit deeper, a little bit more of a low block. I think when he starts to do things like that, you lose the trust in him. And he almost becomes a bit redundant as a defender because he's not quick. His distribution isn't particularly good. So when you start to lose, his heading ability and ability to make good decisions, it might be time to drop him.
That's
obviously you can't do that at the moment, but yeah, it's a strength. Those were bread and butter clearances today.
Yeah, that's why it's so frustrating. But I have to say, and I don't know whether you agree. Tell me if you agree. We dropped off after we scored the goal, and I wanted us to play like we were still drawing the game because that's how we had control and the tempo. We dropped off. Spurs put on, I think, two very attacking players, Mora and number 11, and they kind of overloaded us, and we kept dropping until it was, Leicester and Palace. It's happened again.
Yeah,
see the goal.
The Spurs, their substitutions really helped them. I think give them a little bit more impetus. But obviously, I think at the 2-2 point, Everton didn't really look like they were going to score until there was a little patch, and then all of a sudden the game comes alive. Josh King, he should have scored, shouldn't he? He had a great chance. It didn't look like he was going to make it, but great pace, and then the finish was just too close to the keeper, and that's what happened all evening. Really wasting chance after chance, so many chances wasted, so much poor finishing. If you watch back, we had enough to win 2 or 3 games there. And King certainly, the substitution did make a difference. And I just think give him a go because he's got legs, he's a goal threat, and he's going to dribble. He can't be any worse than some of the other players we've seen this season out wide.
He just doesn't trust him, does he?
Bernard's got a mysterious injury.
Well, he's meant to be back next week, Bernard, Delph, Calvert-Lewin. They're all meant to be back next week.
Hopefully.
No doubt when he says that.
Can we have Decore back?
Well, he's not that far off.
Does seem to be a little bit coinciding with the Decore injury.
The Decore injury was, if I remember rightly, 3 weeks off. That was before the Palace match, so you can't be that far off.
I'm at the point now where if someone said to me, you can end the season and switch off from Everton, I probably would do that, because these recent games are knocking the stuffing out of me. And I am at the point where I just think we're not going to get the slice of luck that we need.
Honestly, I'm the same, right? I am jaded by football 24/7. I love football. I love going the game. I couldn't be a cop-out, though. Fuck me, it's boring. Innit? It fucking is. It is boring watching it on the TV, match after match after match, and not going to the stadium. Fucking hell.
Dave says Lloris was very good for Spurs. He did make some good saves, but they were a lot of them at him, close to him. I think Richarlison in the first half was slid through. The finish wasn't in the corner. A lot of them weren't in the right place to test him. And Steve says Josh King is better than Iwobi all day long. He's a different player, isn't he? Really?
Yeah, I mean, he couldn't play that wing back role tonight. So.
Yeah. On another note, have you seen the latest news?
Go on.
That they are moving the game, so going to be no away fans, and we are going to get to go to one game this season. Well, hopefully.
You know what? Infection rates are so low. I mean, I'm
moving what game
about protecting society and that, but the infection rates are so low. I think there was like 25 cases in Liverpool or something. Or there's just something. It's really, really low per 100,000 at the moment. Let us go the game. Let's get on with it.
Really, if you've got like 3 home games to go, they're letting 4,000 into Wembley. I think. Just I want to be back. Just one. I want to go to one game, and I got selected in the ballot for West Ham. West Ham, and I was devastated when.
You're glad you didn't have to go and watch us lose.
No. You know what? No, I really
won it with
wanted
fans.
to go. I just want to be back at the stadium. I can't wait. I mean, it's tiresome now. It's over a year since I've not been to a fucking game. A year.
Nobody has, really.
And so Joe O'Connor.
Believe it or not.
Well, no, some people have, though, because they got lads going in December.
4,000 have been.
Yeah, but we've 6,000 because I think it was 3 games. Joe O'Connor, you're spot on, mate. Yeah, watching football without fans is hard to watch. Not sometimes. It is hard to watch.
And it's harder every time.
It really does.
Yeah.
Yes, isn't it? I think because if City win, because now the second in the FA Cup doesn't get the Europe spot, does it anymore now, even if they're not qualified. So yes, it is possible.
Wave.
Hang on, what?
No, that would only be.
What's this Europa Conference?
It's a 3rd tier competition for like.
Yeah, but what position? So would that be 8th?
7th.
It's got teams from San Marino and.
Well, hang on. So you got 5th, which is automatically Europa League.
Yeah.
Then Man City will Tottenham wins the Carabao Cup, right? That space then goes to the league, doesn't it?
6th, yeah. If Man City
6th, and then the FA Cup gets a place, so that's 7th.
I think something with the Conference League. Does anyone know the answer to that? Come in on this.
Essentially, it might be 8th getting Europe. Might be the Conference League.
I don't think it is. I think it's the Conference League. 7th
gets the Conference League. 6th and 5th get Europa League.
If the teams win,
if Chelsea win the Champions League, then and finish outside of the top 4, that
doesn't affect us. That only affects the Champions League.
Yeah, but
if Arsenal win the
Europa League places out, doesn't it? Because
Arsenal could win the Europa League and get to the
but they get
League,
separate space. They don't get. That's not affected by the.
No.
That's not affected.
Actually, the whole thing is a bit chaotic. Arsenal can win the Europa League. They're in the semi-finals. They could win it and they could get in the Champions League. And also Chelsea could win the Champions League theoretically and finish 5th.
Does anyone know the answer to this?
So the whole thing
is utterly confusing.
There's quite a few scenarios. The way I see it is it's 5th place Europa League, and if Man City win the FA Cup, it goes to 6th.
The Carabao Cup.
7th is the Conference League. No, I think it's the Conference League.
Yeah, You
It's
have
the
to win
Conference
the
League. I'm
Carabao
sure
Cup.
it's the Conference League.
If Spurs win the
Since when?
Carabao Cup, they go into the Conference League, don't they?
I don't know. So
It's
really,
so
I want a clue.
complicated now. I mean, there's all these qualifying.
The winners of this season's cup will not qualify for the Europa League in the past, but will go into the UEFA Conference League.
Oh, really?
That's the winner of the
Okay,
Carabao,
yeah.
so that must get pushed down.
Well,
So is that 7th then?
I don't care. I actually don't want that. I don't want that. I'm not interested. I couldn't give a shit about the Conference
I
League.
wouldn't write that.
It's embarrassing.
Few away
Send
games
the
on
kids.
on the
Max,
last.
it's
What?
the lower. It's lower than the Europa League.
I'm not asked.
And even the Europa League's a
get
bit
to go.
like.
You know what?
Do we get
If
to go
win
away?
that-
Do we get to use our passports?
Probably not,
Do we
mate.
get to have some booze abroad? And
Do
watch
you want the
Everton play?
Swedish variant of COVID, or the
What?
Switzerland variant,
I've had my vaccine.
or the
I'm not
Nigerian
asked.
variant?
I've had my vaccine. Not bothered.
Might not work, mate, for that variant.
You look at our results in Europe. We've been in Europe, what, 8
Yeah,
times?
but we get to go away.
We've been absolutely rubbish. At least
We
maybe
get to go out this country.
if
It
we
would
were,
be.
no, I'm saying it might be a good thing, Mabsy. I'm
It would-
saying in the Conference League, we've got a chance of winning the thing because the
Can we
worst,
co-
the worst we can come up against is the teams who finish third in the Europa League.
It's very
Pathetic. Yeah, we might actually win. But you know what? The Conference League, it is the amateur sort of European
true.
competition.
So what? So what? Let's just get in there and let's go abroad. Let's use
If this
our
is
passports.
so
Who's with
typical.
me?
This is
We need
Stevie
Really?
agrees
Yes,
with you.
you're right, Steve.
We need
Well,
European
We'd
experience.
send the kids. We'd play the kids.
No, don't send the squad. Let's
There's
go
no
out on the
way.
lash. Let's
Mabs,
go
there's-
out. Let's go.
You
on the
honestly
lash.
think? Do you think?
Let's get out of this country. Let's use our passports. Let's get pissed abroad.
Mabs, do you think, honest to God,
What?
Everton are going to send their first team
So
to a
what?
Europa
If they
Conference
don't,
League
they don't.
game
I'm not asked.
against a team
do we
from
get-
San
do we-
Marino?
Right. Do we get to go away?
You can go
Do
away
we-
anyway. You
no,
can book to
no,
go
we
away.
can't. But do we get to watch Everton play away in the sunshine?
Sunshine.
He's not going to send the. He's
Do-
not.
no,
He
but
would
do- no,
never.
No, I'm not saying the. Hang on, right? I am not saying the
Broadhead.
first team.
You-
Do I go to watch Everton players in the sunshine? Yes
All right,
or
mate.
no?
You're all right. You can
Yes.
go.
I'm
You
gonna
can
fucking
go.
go. So what
You
if
can
we
go and
qualify?
watch.
I'm going. I'm not.
And you know
asked.
what? There'll be another tier. There'll be the fourth tier of Europe, and they call it the Conference League 6 or something.
if
And
we
Does
don't
it matter?
find-
Does it really matter? Just
we-
go abroad and
we
have
don't get
a few
them-
away games on the. Steve, you coming with me? Come on, Steve, get him on.
If we don't get some strength in depth, then no, we're not going to be any good at it. We don't want to be in here. We need to
Steve, if
sign-
you want to come and join us on this video, I can send you the link. You can be on in 2 minutes if you want to come and have
Go
a
on,
little chat with
Steve.
us. It's up to us. Let me know in the comments quickly because I can email you. I can email you it if you're on your computer. But I personally don't think Everton. Let me finish. I don't think we'd send players. I don't think we'd send a first team for that. Imagine playing, a Premier League game on a Saturday and then having to go away on a Thursday to play a team in the Conference League. Which, if you win that, you get Europa League. It doesn't wash with me. It doesn't wash.
It's
with
just an excuse to go on
It's a
there.
trophy, though. It's a trophy.
It's some success. It's some confidence. It's just something different.
me. Read that.
I'd get stuck up with fans and I'd go far. Absolutely. Come on, Steve. We're going to do it.
Steve's pissed, by the way. He's just
Yes, he
texted.
is. Happy
I
days,
don't think he can
Steve.
come on because he's had too much to drink. I don't
Fair
blame
enough.
him. But we'll grab him another time. He was great on the preview. He's had some. You're all about the experience.
Let's get
and
abroad,
You're all
Steve.
thinking about the
Yes.
experience. I think even Joe's going with you as well.
Go on, Joe. Everyone
the
else
preview
is.
going.
You two were saying. I think you two are the only ones. Thank you.
You know what? I
think
just feel a
and
little bit
David are the only
embarrassed.
two that won't go.
What? I've just said
I
that
think.
I want
I
us to
think
win
even
it.
Steve. I think Steve, your older brother, will go with me.
I'd be embarrassed to travel to watch us play.
Well,
a team no one's heard of.
Well, you know what, right? I'm
Bad
gonna go
enough
away.
in the
I'm
Europa
go-
League.
I'm going away with your brother, so there we go.
You'd be lucky to get out your front door at this rate with the regulations.
I'm not. Doesn't matter.
Can't
I don't
even have a birthday
My
party.
job enables me. I don't have to quarantine when I get back. So fuck yous all.
Well,
Why would
think
you do?
it's bad enough now.
You know what I do? but I am exempt from quarantine as well. So if there's a chance to watch us in Europe, I'm going.
You run the country, Mabs.
Don't run the country now, but I do.
Mabs, do you want to give us a word on Prince Philip, who sadly lost his life?
Yeah, it's very sad. I'm gutted he didn't make his 100th, and yeah, it's a very sad passing, and I think it's going to be very good. I feel sorry for the royal family.
Here's a controversial question: did Everton need to pay tribute to them tonight?
Yes.
What do you think,
absolutely.
Dave?
Why wouldn't you?
Was there a minute's silence? I was a bit distracted at that point. Was there?
Yeah, they did. I think so.
Yeah, but I think we did it right.
Is it relevant? There's no fans there.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I think
at the end of the day, I listened to the warm up on the radio, and you know what? They still play the songs. They still play. It's a grand old team. It's like the fans are there, and it's sad to hear it in the background where you can actually hear the songs being played. I just miss it.
I've said it before. We've touched on it in this video. I mean, we're not reacting to the game anymore. I think we're just talking in general. But I don't see the issue with letting fans in now. I think people are. You look at the supermarkets. You stood right next to someone. Yeah. There's no social distancing, and they're packed. Let us go to the ground. You don't have to have people sat next to each other. Go in your household groups. Stagger them out. But even then, what is the problem? Let the vaccinated, let people who've got negative tests, let us go to the game now. It's getting definitely beyond ridiculous.
Well,
this is why I like this. This is why I like this show.
Yeah,
everyone's got different. Everyone's got their own opinions, which is cracking. Any other business? I mean, who do we even play next? I mean, this is the thing.
Arsenal. This is
next
the thing.
Friday.
They play on Sunday. If they beat Fulham, then they're 2 points behind us. They've got a chance to move above us next week.
Yeah.
I'm going to stop looking at the table. I'm actually going to stop looking at the table and disconnect from it all a little bit, apart from the games, because
Mabs,
it's becoming a bit embarrassing.
You're saying that after 31 games, you're fed up of Everton. You want the season to end, but you want to add another 10
No,
games.
hang on. No, I did. I want the season. I want this season to end because I've watched it on the TV, David. There's a difference between watching on the TV, being a sad old cop-eyed, than going the game. There's a difference. I'm sick of watching football on the TV. Sick of seeing empty stadiums. Sick of not being able to go. Sick of it. Just sick of it.
Sick of having to play on other teams' miseries to try and get you to survive.
Sick of being planned to play Monday nights at 6 p.m. Like, what the fuck's that about?
Mabs, let's just briefly touch, just because we've got nothing else to smile about and we're very bitter. They got knocked out. Hala Madrid.
I tell you what, I was playing Viva España all Thursday morning, me.
Very funny.
Amazing.
Do you remember being in was it the brick we were in?
It was the brick after the Champions League final when they lost against Madrid in Ukraine.
Video.
Looking brilliant. That was a boss night. That.
I'm gonna go through the player ratings now, just before we call it quits. I'm gonna ask you each to give me your rating. So I'm gonna start with Jordan Pickford, and I'm gonna come to you first, David.
Pickford is gonna get a 7. I mean, he didn't do anything wrong, really. Can't think of anything spectacular either. Decent performance.
Andy?
A 6. That's the standard 6. He's come back. Didn't do much wrong. The 2 goals were 2 fuck-ups by the fucking idiots. There we go.
So left of the central 3. Actually, I'll leave him till last. Right of the central 3, Ben Godfrey, number 22. I thought he played well. He's the best of the bunch. Give me your ratings, Mabs.
7.5.
Dave?
I'll give him an 8. He didn't put foot wrong, really.
No, he's boss. It's snap. Just can't believe we've got him.
Yeah.
Okay. Mason Holgate on the left of the 3.
4.
I love the way there's not even a comment. It's just 4.
It's a 4. I can't. I'll just. Yeah.
Same to you, Dave.
I give him a 5. I mean, he was okay generally. He just made a mistake, didn't he?
Yeah, a couple of mistakes. Yeah.
I'll move on to Keane. I think it was Keane more at fault especially for the first goal. You know, so I'm going to give Keane the 4.
I'll give him another 4. As I say, the Chuckle brothers, so they get the same score.
I'm giving them both a 0.
Fair enough.
Cost us the game. They absolutely. They
You're
cost us
more
3
harsh than
points.
what we are.
You know what it is? If you make the mistake once, you go, okay, he's made a bit of an error there. He's misjudged the flight of the ball, maybe, or Michael might have said, leave it for me, and then he's not dealt with it properly. So, okay, whatever. For it to happen twice, basic clearances, no chance.
Yeah.
Outrageous. Left wing back, Dean. I thought he had a strong game tonight. He was much improved. He looked more lively, more committed, and he had a little partner with Gylfi Sigurdsson on his side and James drifting across, and even Richarlison. So he had someone to work with there. So what would you give their rating?
I'd give him a 7.
I thought he was excellent tonight. I thought he was back to his old best from what we've seen from him, getting forward.
Yes, he will, Steve.
Cross.
Nice, Steve.
And defensively sound. He had Oreo the whole game. He didn't give him a sniff.
Loving these. These are funny.
7.5 for Dean.
Just plucking a few off. You got to say what player they're for, because Joe's giving Keane a 4. Sigurdsson, left centre mid, but he's floating. He's in different positions. I thought it was
8.
really good tonight.
8.
Giving him a 9. I'm giving him a 9. I've got to.
Yeah.
Finish was outstanding. His performance was outstanding. Tom Davis as well. I can't give. I am critical of him because I don't think his technical ability. I don't think he's like the weak link in there who always seems to be fit to play. If you know what I mean. I'm going to give him a 7 because he didn't really do anything wrong, and he David, I'm going to ask you, Alan, he come back into the team. He wasn't 100% fit, and there were times he let players get away from him, but in the main, he seemed to be in the right place at the right time. He read the game well.
No, he's that little bit of energy we've been lacking of late. He snaps into the tackle, he instigates the press, and there was a hole there the last couple of matches he was missing. So he came back and did a good job. One thing he does lack, as you say, he gives the ball, but he kind of gets nicked on the ball. He kind of takes too long sometimes. See it with James as well. Maybe they're just still getting accustomed to the league. I'm going to give him a 7.5. I'll give Davies a 7.
Accustomed to the league.
Yeah.
Awobi, Mabsy, Alex. He's a
5.
nice guy, isn't he, Alex?
Yeah, he's a nice guy, but I'll give him a 5. Didn't bring much to the table.
5.5.
I want him to do well. He's a decent dribbler. The thing is, he's not a goal threat. He can't cross. I certainly would get rid. He's not an Everton player. He doesn't suit the system, and I think Brand should be absolutely slaughtered for bringing him in. James,
8.
He's brilliant tonight.
He's just world class, isn't he? There's not more you can say really than that.
His passing was superb. His the positions he got himself into were excellent. Won a penalty. I think about one set piece. It was quite a deep set piece on the left. It was a fantastic ball. Godfrey skied it. I thought he was the best player on the pitch by a mile. It's difficult actually because Sigurdsson scored twice. To do that, and I kind of have to give him a man of the match to Sigurdsson for the 2 goals. But there wasn't really anything between him and James, really, if you think about it. Dave, Richarlison.
Difficult one. Difficult. I'm going to give him 6.5. He was average. He missed his chances.
He was wasteful, wasn't he, tonight?
Yeah, I'd agree. 6.5. He needs to be more clinical.
His hold-up plays good.
Yeah, he did a shift. He held the ball up at times. Things didn't bounce too much off him. He brought the ball into play when it was on the ground. So, but I love
Richarlison.
I
love Richarlison, but apart from maybe 8 games this season, he hasn't turned up.
Yeah.
He didn't turn up when he was playing on the wing, and he's had a good little patch, but it's fizzled out for him a little bit. The substitutions, I'm going to do the subs. Seamus Coleman came in, made an immediate impact. I think he showed a lot more urgency and intensity and a desire. I think maybe he wasn't fit to start the game, so that's why he's come off the bench. I'm going to give him a 7. It was a great ball, and I think he it's a shame he's not 10 years younger, really. It really is. And then the other guy who came on, Josh King. It's difficult because he had that chance, didn't he, right at the end where he should have scored. But I think Richarlison definitely should have scored. Definitely should have scored the follow-up. A little bit of composure. It's kind of the last player you want it to fall to out of the forwards. So I'm gonna give King a 6.
Yeah.
It's hard to be overly critical, and it's hard to be overly positive. Joe says if there was an Everton crowd here tonight, we wouldn't have drew the game. It would have been more pressure on the players. I do think the ball would have gone in the net, and we would have been a lot more comfortable. Man of the match,
Siggy.
Sigurdsson.
Sigurdsson. It's no question, unfortunately. I feel sorry on James because it is Sigurdsson, but another day it would have been hammered. Guys,
thanks for watching. It has been a bit demoralising tonight, a bit deflating. Again, it's another draw, and it actually extremely predictable if you think about it. Me and Steve were having a little joke before in the preview, saying, this has got draw written all over it. With a draw specialist now, and it's mad because we've gone almost a whole season either winning or losing, and then all of a sudden we can't win a game, can't see the games out, and it is infuriating. Join us for the preview for the Arsenal game the day before. It's normally between 5 and 6 o'clock. But we'll obviously update you on Twitter. If you're watching on Facebook, like the video. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. Mabsy, thanks for joining.
No problems.
David, thank you.
You're welcome.
Very depressing.
That's it, isn't
Don't
it?
know what to say.
Yeah.
That's that. Goodbye.
Good night.